All right, so these are going to be my playoff power rankings here for the 2025 season. I'm going to go through just the 14 teams that are in the playoffs, and I'm not necessarily ranking them based off of their regular season performances and stuff. I'm ranking them based on how good I feel they can perform in the playoffs. And at the end of it, I also will quickly go over my final regular season ranking, which is going to be a little bit different than my playoff power rankings. But yeah, going forward, let's just get started. I'm gonna have my record that I've been going on my game picks right. Last week I went 12-4, so for my season total I'm 190 and 82, 70% there, which is pretty good. Right, my lock of the week I was 16-2, 89% there, pretty good. Upset of the week 8-10, 44%, not great, but again they're all upsets, so getting close to 50% is pretty good for predicting upsets. Then my total earnings, potentially, right? I didn't actually bet on this, but if I would have bet $10 on every single game, I would be up $183.26 all season long, which is about $10 per NFL week, which isn't a lot, but certainly that's extra money just for betting. And if I could be up $10 a week, that would be it'd be cool, right? But yeah, moving on past that, I'm gonna look over. This is every single team, so I'm trying to move myself out of the way. But this was my record of predicting every single team of his record all season long. So I picked the Chiefs correctly 16 times, incorrectly once, and then I was actually above 500 on every single team here, with the Vikings and Cardinals being my lowest at 9-8. But yeah, you guys can look at this yourself. It's mainly for me, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I did take the time to to map this all out. But yeah, after that, we will go into our top performances here from Week 18. You guys can again look at this here yourself. I don't want to keep you too long, but yeah, look at this yourself. Yeah. Next up is our injury. So I'm going to go through a lot of injuries here. It's basically every single major injury to any player on a playoff team. It doesn't have to just be a new injury. I just kind of want to cover all my bases for every team's injuries that they have going forward. So I am going to talk about every single one of these. If you don't really care, you can just move on. But the Ravens, Arthur Millette has been out for a while. He's out for the playoffs. Justice Hill and Kyle Hamilton are questionable for the wild card weekend, right? And Zay Flowers was doubtful, and he's actually now been ruled out, I believe, for wild card weekend. Eagles, Byron Young, Brandon Graham, and CJ Uzama have been out for a while. They're going to be out for the rest of the season. And Jalen Hurts is questionable for the playoffs, so he should. Signs are pointing towards him playing wild card weekend, which certainly would need him to play. But yeah, Broncos, Alex Singleton's out for the season. That's the only thing they had to worry about. It's not too much going on there. Bills, Amari Cooper's questionable this week. He should be playing as well. They said he's probable, so that's good. They don't really have any major injuries to worry about. Lions, they have a bunch. Marcus Davenport, Mekhi Wingo, Khalil Dorsey, Aiden Hutchinson, Emmanuel Mosley, Carlton Davis, out for the season. Aiden Hutchinson did say if they make the Super Bowl, and he guarantees he's going to play, but again, we haven't really had an official word on that. He's just said that, so I'm not really counting that. But that's something to look out for. And also, David Montgomery and Ennis Rakestraw are going to be questionable for the divisional round game. So hopefully they can be healthy for that. For the Packers, AJ Dillon, Jordan Morgan, and Christian Watson injured for the season. Christian Watson is a new injury as of Week 18, so that's very sad there. Also, Quay Walker, Jordan Love, and Romeo Doubs are all questionable for the wild card game, and they all look like they're progressing towards playing, which is obviously good. They need Jordan Love in that game. Texans, they have a lot of injuries as well. Stephon Diggs, Brevin Jordan, Jalen Petrie, Tank Dell, Jimmy Ward, all out for the season, right? Danico Autry, Christian Harris, Jeff Okudah, and John Mechie are all questionable for the wild card weekend. If none of those guys play, that's going to be really bad for their chances against the Chargers. Going on to the Bucks, Chris Godwin and Jordan Whitehead out for the season, and then Mike Edwards and Antoine Winfield are questionable for wild card game. Again, those are two good safeties on their team that they're really going to want playing this week. Chiefs, they have some injuries, quite a bit there as well. Rashee Rice, Jody Fortune, Jared Wiley, and Sky Moore, all out for the season, right? McCole Hardman and Jaden Watson are questionable, as well as Jack Cochran, all questionable here for the rest of the season. Jack Cochran probably won't be able to be back until the AFC Championship game, but McCole Hardman and Jalen Watson could be back for the divisional round. The Chargers, Asante Samuel, Eli Apple, Brendan Rice, Jalen Rager are all questionable for the divisional round, so they're going to be out this week. If they win, they have a chance to play the next week. And then Marcus May, has a chance to play if they can make it to the AFC Championship game. And then Gus Edwards and Quentin Johnston are questionable to play in their wild card game. Yeah, for the Rams, Blake Corum, Nick Hampton, and KT Leviston are all out for the season. And then tight end Hunter Long is questionable for this week in the wild card game. Vikings are without Christian Darrisaw for the rest of the season, and Fabian Moro is questionable for this week. The Commanders are without, they're not without anybody, but Noah Brown, KJ Osborne, and Jaden Daniels are all questionable this week, although it's pointing towards that they're going to play, especially Jaden Daniels. All signs point towards him playing, which they certainly need him. If Marcus Mariota has to start a playoff game, they're not winning. But yeah, going on to the Steelers, Troy Fautanu, CJ Henderson are both questionable for the divisional round if they can make it that far. Calvin Anderson, Mason McCormick, Roman Wilson, and Cam Hayward are questionable this week. They certainly would like those offensive linemen and Cam Hayward at that as well. Very integral pieces to their roster. If none of those guys can play this week, they're going to be really struggling against the Ravens. This is going to be it for those injuries. And we finally do get into number 14 here, which I have the Houston Texans. Again, they have a lot of injuries on their roster. They haven't been playing great football. They have the worst record out of anybody in the playoffs. Tied with a lot of people at 10-7. Personally, they're in a really bad division. They've gone 5-1 in their division, I believe. I believe that's correct. If they were in any other division, they are probably not in the playoffs. So that's why I have them last here. I don't really trust them to do much here this season. Number 13 is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. On a 4-game losing streak. This team always seems to just coast into the playoffs somehow and then absolutely suck it up when they do play a game. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here. I like them a little bit more than the Texans, but not much. Number 12, Green Bay Packers, 11-6. So with the Christian Watson injury, that definitely hinders this team quite a bit. He's one of their better offensive weapons for their team. So losing him in Week 18 is such a brutal blow. I think that does affect them here quite a bit. They could be up maybe 1 or 2 spots higher if he did play. But either way, I don't necessarily trust this team to make any run. They could win one game maybe, but again, their path is very, very difficult. But yeah, not a horrible team. Obviously better than the 2 teams below them. But without Christian Watson, definitely hurts their chances. Number 11, Denver Broncos. So again, the Packers might be ahead of Denver if Christian Watson was healthy. But for Denver, rookie quarterback, right, does not make me have a whole lot of confidence in this team, even though they have a very good defense. And Bo Nix has played great all season long, right? But just because he's a rookie kind of gives you less confidence in them in general for the playoffs. But yeah, Sean Payton's a good head coach. They have a great defense. So definitely make you feel a little bit better for them rather than some of the teams below them. Number 10 is going to be the Washington Commanders. Kind of the same thing here with their rookie quarterback. You can't really trust the rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs because they haven't ever shown you anything, right? They never had, this is their biggest game of their life, essentially up to this point. So, you don't really know what to expect. I do think the Commanders have a good shot because they've been so good all season long. Their offense has been really good. Jaden Daniels has been really good all season. Their coaching staff has been really good all season. So I do have some faith in them, just not necessarily a whole lot compared to some of these other teams above them that have a lot more experience under their belt. Number 9, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, they have tied for the worst record in the league, kind of like the Houston Texans. If they were not in the NFC South, they probably are not in the playoffs right now. But I do think they're better than some of these other teams because they have experience in the playoffs, right? They did this last season. They came in, they won a playoff game. Baker Mayfield was great. Mike Evans, a great receiver, right? Rashad White has been a great running back for them. Whatever. Yeah. Bucky Irving has been a great running back for them. Rashad White's, whatever. But yeah, this team has been really good, offensively all season long. Their defense definitely struggles at times. But I have some faith in this team because they were kind of in the same spot last season and they showed us they can do stuff. Number 8 is going to be the Los Angeles Rams. Again, kind of the same thing with them. They're tied for the worst record here in the playoffs at 10-7. But they are a really good team, right? They have a lot of playoff experience. Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, I trust him a lot. I trust Sean McVay in the playoffs a lot to at least, have the potential to make a run. And I wouldn't be very surprised if the Rams were able to do so. Number 7 is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers here. This team is really good. Justin Herbert is amazing. right? Just Jim Harbaugh is an amazing coach. Ladd McConkey is an amazing receiver, right? So, and this defense is really good as well. They're one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. So I definitely trust this team to make some noise, and that they would not necessarily surprise me if they could make a run to an AFC title game or even a Super Bowl. But obviously, things have to go their way a little bit. But they're certainly one of the best teams, top half of the teams in the playoffs. Number 6, Minnesota Vikings. So again, because of their record, it feels low. But because again, kind of like Sam Darnold's never been in this situation, right? Kevin O'Connell, I don't think the Vikings have made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. I don't necessarily remember. But I know a lot of this team has not been a playoff. I don't think Justin Jefferson has played a playoff game. I could be wrong there, but I don't think he has, right? I know Aaron Jones has been in the playoffs, right? Kevin O'Connell, I believe, has been in the playoffs before as a coach. But just with Sam Darnold at the lead, I don't necessarily have a whole bunch of faith in him to perform in the playoffs. He kind of performed poorly in Week 18 against the Lions, which was essentially a playoff game that would have given the number one seed, and he did not show up there. So I kind of expect him to also not show up in the playoffs. But just because the rest of their team around them is so talented, their defense is amazing. Obviously, their offense is really good weapons with Addison, Jefferson, and Aaron Jones. I do trust them quite a bit. It's just how far is Sam Darnold going to take you? But yeah, number 5 here is going to be so number 5 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Sorry, they've been really good, obviously all season long. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, amazing weapons there. The receivers, are obviously great. Zay Flowers is out for a game, but he should be back. I expect them to win their first game. He should be back after that, no problem. And I do trust this team very much. Their defense is great. Their coaching staff is great. I just can't put them above some of these teams ahead of them because simply they've been playing better. And I might be scared of some of the teams ahead of them more than I am the Ravens. Right? Number 4, Detroit Lions. This certainly feels low. You can definitely tell me it feels low. They're like a lot of people argue they're the best team in the entire league, and I don't really have a case against that. But this is my pitch, right? My pitch for the Lions not being the best team right now. Injuries obviously is a big part of that. Even though with their injuries, they still look the best team in the league. I don't necessarily trust this team to be amazing in the playoffs, right? They made the NFC Championship game last year, which I didn't expect that either. But I do not expect this team to go farther than the NFC Championship. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're quite good enough, right? If they were fully healthy, if Aiden Hutchinson was playing and stuff, then yes, they could make a Super Bowl run. They could make a for sure. But without some of those key guys that are injured, right? I don't trust this team quite as much, but I still do think they're very much a Super Bowl threat. Just a little bit less than the teams ahead of them. Number 3, Buffalo Bills. So I think they're more of a threat than the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC. I'm a Chiefs fan, right? So I would much rather play Baltimore than Buffalo at this point, right? Mostly because we already beat Baltimore this season and we lost to Buffalo this season, right? So that right there makes me not want to play Buffalo here in the playoffs. But Buffalo is an amazing team offensively, right? Josh Allen can play absolute hero ball and win them a Super Bowl, right? I would not be surprised at that at all. Their coaching staff honestly isn't amazing, but I think they have the talent to overcome a poor coaching staff, which we've kind of seen all season long. They are amazing, but yeah, their defense isn't great as well. But I think Josh Allen's good enough to overcome their bad defense. I don't think Sean McDermott's a great coach. Joe Brady's cool, but Sean McDermott, I don't trust him a whole bunch. But I do trust Josh Allen to be good enough to carry this team as far as he can take them, which is pretty freaking far. Yeah. Number 2 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're the best team in the NFC. The reason why? Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is probably the best player in the entire NFC conference, regardless of position, regardless of a quarterback value, right? Saquon Barkley is still the best player, even the best value. He has the highest MVP odds, I believe, of any NFC player, probably besides Jared Goff. Jared Goff might be ahead of him, but again, that's only because Jared Goff's the quarterback. Saquon Barkley is a much better player than any NFC player, especially in the playoffs, in my personal opinion. I think he's going to absolutely dominate throughout the entire playoffs, right? Their defense is decent, right? Their offense is great, even aside from Saquon Barkley, right? Nick Sirianni has gone to a Super Bowl before here with Jalen Hurts and stuff, so I certainly trust this team to make a Super Bowl run. Number one, Kansas City Chiefs. Reason why is because of the Chiefs, because they won 2 straight Super Bowls, because they have Patrick Mahomes, because they have Andy Reid, because they have Travis Kelce. DeAndre Hopkins in the playoffs should be really good. Xavier Worthy has been really good. Their offense has been heating up all season long, and they're just now getting the most healthy they've been all season long, right? Like that's unfathomable. This team is 15-2, right? Undergone a whole bunch of injuries, kind of like the Lions who are 15-2, but the Chiefs are just now continuing to get healthier and healthier every single week. Well, the Lions aren't necessarily doing that because they have a lot of pieces like Aiden Hutchinson again, who's going to be out all season. The Chiefs, the only guy they're without for all season is pretty much Rashee Rice. That's that plays any sort of value into this team. And I think they've easily going to overcome that with their, with Worthy, with D-Hop, with Hollywood Brown, right? That's going to be a great three-headed monster in the playoffs, in my opinion. Patrick Mahomes has been amazing in the playoffs, right? I definitely trust this team the most out of anybody because of their track record. And I think, personally, this season they should be the Super Bowl favorites. That's going to be it for that. So we are going to get into my regular season, like my regular end-of-season power rankings. So I'm not going to talk too much. Just going to kind of go through this. Browns, 3-14, they're pretty bad. Titans 3-14, again they're pretty bad. 30 Saints 5-12, they're really bad as well. 29 Giants, yeah they're bad. I don't really want to talk much about these. 28 Jags, 27 Raiders, 26 Patriots, 25 is the Bears, 24 is the Jets, 23 is the Panthers, 22 is the Niners, 21 is the Cowboys, 20 is the Falcons, 19 is the Colts, 18 is the Dolphins, 17 is the Cardinals, 16 is the Texans, 15 is the Seahawks, 14 is the Steelers, 13 is the Packers, 12 is the Broncos, 11 is the Rams, 10 is the Bengals, 9 is the Vikings, 8 is the Bucks, 7 is the Chargers, 6 is the Commanders, 5 is the Ravens, 4 is the Eagles, 3 is the Bills, 2 is the Lions, and then 1 is the Chiefs. That is going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. I do want to know what your thoughts are on my power rankings, specifically for the playoffs, right? If you want to comment on my end of season power rankings, you can do that as well. But let me know your playoff power rankings, and make sure to check out my playoff prediction video as well.